Hello beautiful people, my name is Venti and today I'm bringing you the travel book tag. This tag was originally created by the channel Bookish Paradise, which I'll have linked down below, and I was tagged to do this, I don't know, about a month back by my friend Katie from A Sea of Tomes, who I'll also have linked in the description box. I decided to wait to do this tag. It was a calculated thing because by the time you're watching this, I am either in Iceland or I have just come back from it for Thanksgiving break. So I figured it was the perfect time to answer these questions and for myself to get thinking about the sort of things that I'm going to be bringing with me on that trip. So because I still need to pack and get ready and get the house ready for me to be gone, I figure it's about time to just get started with these questions. So the first part of this tag is just to give you a vacation flashback, to tell you about a trip that I've been on. And I figured I'd change this up a bit and do a projection of sorts for this Iceland trip. So I'm going to Iceland with my boyfriend for Thanksgiving break. The reason we're going to Iceland is actually because it was cheaper to get a flight from Boston to Iceland than it was for me to go home to see my family for Thanksgiving. In the United States, plane prices get crazy around about that time, so I guess it makes sense. But neither of us had ever been to Iceland, and we figured, if we have a couple extra bucks, why don't we go and visit while we're still here? It's a wonderful opportunity for it. So while we're in Iceland, and I might vlog it, we're gonna be doing a sort of road trip tour down the southern coast, and we're gonna see the glaciers and the black sand beaches and just all of it. And of course, we're gonna do a pit stop in Reykjavik so that I can see the capital of the country that I'll be visiting. And of course, I'm gonna take a little spa day at the Blue Lagoon Resort. That's unquestionable. And hopefully, my biggest hope for this is that I'll get to see the Northern Lights, Aurora Borealis. That's been my dream for a very long time, but I've never lived north enough to actually see it. So I'm hoping that on this trip, I'll get to see them. So who I'm with, my boyfriend, what'll I do, a little trip, and why it'll be memorable. It's visiting Iceland, so it's going to be memorable no matter what, but hopefully because of the Northern Lights. And now we're on to part 2 of the tag, where I ask and answer some bookish questions. Question number 1 is booking the flight. What is the most expensive book you own, and was it worth it? Now, my shelves are all in my family's home still, so I'm going to say from the books that I have with me here in Boston, I think the most expensive book that I own is The Savior's Champion by Jenna Moreci. This is a dark fantasy following the goriest version of The Bachelor that you ever did see, and it follows Tobias, a young artist who gets roped into this championship to marry the savior, who is the ruler of this land called Thesson. Everything goes wrong when Tobias falls in love with the wrong woman while he's a member of this tournament. This book was, I think, 24 bucks for the hardcover, which is pretty standard for an adult hardcover, though usually you get some discounts if you're, buying online and stuff. But I think because this was an independently published book, it cost a little more and there were fewer discounts, which I don't mind at all. I really enjoyed this book. I'm planning on rereading it very, very soon. Question number 2 is packing. What is a book with a busy but really well-paced plot? For this, I have to say Six of Crows. This is the sequel, Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo. I feel like everyone and their mother already has read Six of Crows, so they even know better than me what's going to happen, in Crooked Kingdom, and whether the tightness and cohesion of the plot continues on in book 2. I still don't, because I haven't read the sequel yet, but I plan to this month. But in case you haven't read it, I'm not going to do any spoilers. Basically, Six of Crows is about a heist, so think Ocean's 8, but with a little more magic and mayhem and death. And I think that Leigh Bardugo paced it beautifully, the character reveals and the characterization tied in with exploding into prisons and things. It's fantastic. All of the plot points tie together so well, and it's 500 pages, but it doesn't feel that way. I hope that this one lives up to it. Question number 3 is the airport security check. What is the book that you've most analyzed? Probably one that I've read for school. So one of the most analyzed authors that I've ever read is our pal William Shakespeare. He's just a staple of just about any literature class, whether it's in middle school, high school, or in your tertiary education. Who am I gonna choose besides the Bard? Question number 4 is airplane meal. Who, out of all the characters you've read, would you like to have lunch or dinner with? And I chose Radu from the And I Darken trilogy by Kiersten White. I'm sure it has a name. If you don't know, And I Darken is essentially a historical fiction-ish retelling of the story of Vlad the Impaler, except Vlad is a girl and her name is Lada, and she is just as bad as the original dude. But I wouldn't like to have lunch with her. I don't think she'd be a very fun dinner guest. I think I'd rather have a meal with Radu because he'd provide really excellent conversation. I think he'd be an excellent dinner party host. So I'd really enjoy eating a meal with him. Plus the Ottomans, my dude. they had some pretty delicious food. Question number 5 is Souvenir. Pick a book that you have multiple copies or editions of, and I mean, Peter Pan. It's always gonna be Peter Pan. I don't know how many copies of this book I have. I think I have more of it than I have copies of The Little Prince, or I ought to. I'll check when I go visit my parents this December. Question number 6 is Turbulence. Pick a book that made you anxious or nervous while reading it. And most recently, I have to say Monday's Not Coming by Tiffany D. Jackson. This is a thriller with the timelines all converged and messed up. And it's so anxiety inducing from start to finish. You just fly through it because you need to know what happens next. And it's fantastic. I think it'd be a really good plane read as long as you're flying during the daytime. Question number 7 is The Landing. What is your most anticipated release of 2018? I guess since 2018 is mostly done, I'll be telling you a book that's already come out, and it actually came out early 2018, and it is Sight Witch by Susan Dennard. It is the novella that comes between Wind Witch and Blood Witch in the Witchlands series. Sight Witch follows Ryber, at the time of the story, sightless sister at the Sight Witch convent, as she has to figure out why all the other Sight Witches are going missing. And in a dual timeline, 1,000 years in the past, it follows another sightless Sight Witch called Iridescent. Yes, that Iridescent. You will know who I'm talking about if you've read the Witchlands series, and if you're on this channel, I mean, if I haven't convinced you to read it by now, I've completely failed, so you might as well just unsubscribe. Incidentally, my most anticipated release of 2019 is Blood Witch, which is book 3 in the Witchlands series. Yeah, I'm really predictable when it comes to these. Question number 8, baggage claim. Pick a book that dragged. Yeah. Didn't love this book. I kind of want to reread it when I'm in more of like a rom-commy mood to see if I'll like it anymore, but I don't think I will. It was a really cool premise, and I'm really happy that it meant so much to so many people. It just didn't click with me. And question number 9, I forget what the prompt for this one was, but the idea is a series that you can read over and over. And for this one, I have to say the Percy Jackson and the Olympians series. And as a matter of fact, I may be co-hosting a readathon with my dear friend Chaya for this series very, very soon. So keep your ears wide open for more news on that front. And now I'm supposed to tag you lovelies. It's a pretty old tag, so I don't know who's done it and who hasn't. If you haven't done it and you would like to, consider yourself tagged. If you end up doing it, please let me know on Twitter or somewhere, because I would like to see your answers to this tag. It's very fun, and I hope you guys have fun doing it too. As it is though, that is it from me. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please leave me a thumbs up, and if you like me, maybe consider subscribing to my channel. Let me know if you've read any of these books and if your thoughts on them are similar or very different from my own, or let me know if you're going someplace for this Thanksgiving or this December break. I would love to know, but until then, that's all I've got for you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you with another video very, very soon. Goodbye.